Hi. Okay, this video is about some new stuff that I purchased from Uhlenbrock. So to start off with, this is my control panel that has two LocalNet decoders from MGP, Molahem in Sweden. And that's how I control all my turnouts and that. So it's all done by LocalNet. And now I picked up a couple of pieces here, Uhlenbrock pieces. So this is a throttle. This is a LocalNet interface. So here's the cable here, it comes into LocalNet, and now all these devices that are LocalNet triggered or responds to LocalNet devices, everything is able to talk to each other. Some of these pieces have these little boxes on them, the plates. This is a memory device for creating routes. This one is a signal decoder. I think it's turnout and signal. Then this one has three devices that you can program individually. You can set the first one to flip a route, or the next one to flip a turnout, and then the next one to program, let's say, a locomotive function, the horn. So what you would do is you would press it and hold it. It would flash. Then you would go on your throttle and say call up a locomotive, and then let's say press F2 for the bell or F2 for a horn or whatever it is. And then this would pick up that message, you press the button again, and then it would remember it. So then from then on, when you press that button, then that locomotive, that horn would go on. So they're pre-programmed to whatever you want. This little guy is it's a display that gives you the address of the locomotive, but the way that one is made for, it's for their what they call LISSY device, LISSY. That's a LocalNet interface, but the way it works is infrared. There's a light that's underneath the track. So instead of having block detection like in Railcom, where you're getting the signal, let's say the ESU decoders, you have the Railcom information in there. That information is passed through the track. It goes to LocalNet, but when the thing is, when the locomotive goes through an isolated section of track that is Railcom aware, that has like the DR5088 RC or their device, the ECOS detector that has a Railcom block, well, that's going through the rails, that information. But in this case, this box it connects to a LocalNet little device that is, like I said, LISSY, LISSY, and that has it's able to program two blocks. So, and it has an infrared light that instead of isolating the block, you just drill a hole, you put the light LED from underneath. And now this transmitter has to be mounted underneath the locomotive. So for N scale and stuff, it's not very practical. It's better for the bigger gauges. The reason it's under the locomotive is because there's a little LED that flashes. So as the train, it flashes with the signal of the address of the locomotive. So it ends up being it's actually, it's not going. You can have it on the analog layout. You don't need to have a digital DCC layout. You can have an analog layout, and you don't have to have the blocks cut up individually. It's just drill the hole, put the LED, that decoder is underneath. So when that decoder is connected to power of the locomotive, as it goes over, it's basically transmitting its information. As it goes over that LED, that little box gets their LISSY command, and it sends over the LocalNet to this box, which is, you would program that to be whatever LISSY programmer or transmitter you have. You would say, okay, you listen on that LocalNet device, and then when it would get the address, it would show it over here. But I'm not going to be going into LISSY devices and stuff, so I don't know if there's another way I can make that thing operate. Anyway, and then this is the throttle, which you have functions. You press a button, you type in the address, press the button again, and from then on it controls the locomotive. This one in here is a turnout decoder, so you can set it up as if it's a left hand or right hand, or a cross, or a difference, or three turnout that has 3 points. So yeah, LocalNet, this is for turnout. This one here is actually for signals. So it has more lights underneath, and this one is the memory. And then, as I said, this one is 3 individual slots. So I'm going to be playing around with that. If anybody has any information that they could send me about Uhlenbrock, because it's some programming these boards and stuff. It's all the instructions are in German, so German is not my native language. So anybody has information that would please let me know, and I'll see what I can add. So one of the things is I didn't want to make the big Uhlenbrock, the big track control board that has a bunch of a bunch of these tiles, and it gets very expensive. And but I was just thinking of how I could just connect, let's say, one of these boards. Have one of these little boards installed somewhere in the layout, program it as a route, and then when I just press the button, boom, that route is triggered. So it becomes a local net interface into the local net, pre-programmed for an instruction or whatever, and then press a button and it goes. Same thing for the throttle here. Have it somewhere on the side of the layout on the little board, and if I want to take a locomotive, instead of using a handheld throttle, because sometimes you don't want to always carry the handheld throttle in your hand. You want to be able to put it down or whatever. Here it would just be on a little stand, let's say next to this control panel here, like have something where it's like mounted like on the side down here, something like that there on the side of the layout. And there you go. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and hopefully I'll have some future updates. Thanks for listening.